What's going on, family? Joe Anderson here. These Tuesday tutorials. Always glad when y'all come and check these out, man. This is actually kind of a help for me as much as it's a help for anybody else who's out there trying to do this music thing. So, still going to be sticking with this music and sync licensing, but kind of do a little bit of a variation of this today because I had an interesting conversation with my cousin. His name's Joshua. He's a business consultant. And he was, asking me a little about what I was doing and what I was working on in terms of with my studio. I kind of went into a little bit of what I've been doing here with getting into this sync licensing. And he asked a very practical question, and he's kind of that kind of guy. He's very blunt, very direct. And he says, "Well, what do you do when they say yes?" And I kind of was like, I'll just get them the track. I'll send them the invoice, and then we'll be done with it. But then he started to ask me a little bit about the process, and I was like thinking, that's actually a pretty good thing that we need to kind of talk about and discuss. Is that he even said to me, he was like, as a creative, and I would expect that you have the music to be able to be able to do this, but do you have the things in place to make sure that you can actually give your product to the people who ask for it or the people who need it? And there are some things that we have to have in place. For one, one of the things that I do have in place already is that my business, my production company is registered as an LLC. I have a business account that's specific to just my music production company. I'm also registered with BMI, and one of the things that's going to be very important is that you are registered with one of these major publishing companies like BMI, ASCAP, because what's going to end up happening is that you need to be able to already have your songs copywritten and understand that as soon as you record something, you have a copyright. But you want to also register with the Department of whatever it is that does copyrights in DC. Make sure that you actually have that registered there. But then whenever you're going to be having one of these works going to be out, you need to make sure that you have some kind of relationship with BMI or ASCAP, because you need to be able to say, I am releasing my rights to this song to X, Y, and Z marketing for this commercial. And then you need to be able to make sure that they have a way for them to be able to compensate you. And the best thing to do is to have that, an account that's actually a real registered account underneath your business, not yourself. Especially if you're going to try to get to some of these bigger companies. It's a lot different than when we're doing beats for somebody and we just say, hey man, cash at me the $300 for this track. Or, they just come through the house and just, pay you $300 in cash. If you're going to be working with a reputable marketing agency or reputable advertiser, they're going to want to, have an invoice, and they're going to want to send it to a business account if you have one. Of course, that's not a necessity, but it's something that makes you a little bit more legitimate. And one of the things he also said to have in place is that, maybe have something on your website where people can actually go to that and be able to pick out tracks, be able to say, this is what I want, this is what I need, and if they want to, be able to pay you through your website. That's a good option to have. So I know this is a little bit of a different type of thing, didn't really talk too much about music today, but just some of the importance of having something and having something in place to be able to supply the people with your product. First and foremost, make sure you have it copywritten. Second, make sure that you are affiliated with a BMI or an ASCAP. And three, have a process in place for you to be able to get paid. Those are the things that I think that are going to be very essential to making sure that once you do have the right song and you have it formatted the right way, then when that person does say yes, and we're just going to bank on them saying, yes, I love your song, then you can go ahead and release those rights, get that song to that person, and get paid. As always, appreciate you. Joe Anderson. You can follow me Facebook at Charlotte True Flavor, Instagram at True Flavor 1995, and also at my website at www.trueflavorproductions.com. All right, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll talk to y'all soon.